The lost city of Atlantis. For thousands of years, humanity has been drawn to stories of vanished worlds and civilizations that seem to exist on the edge of reality. Among all these legends, one name has endured like no other: Atlantis. It is a name that conjures visions of shining temples, powerful fleets, and a paradise that suddenly vanished beneath the sea. From philosophers in ancient Greece to explorers of the modern age, the story of Atlantis has fascinated and frustrated generations. Was it ever real? Or is it simply the most famous story that never happened? The search for Atlantis is not just about history, it is about imagination, myth, and the human longing to uncover what has been lost. The tale of Atlantis begins not with sailors or maps, but with the philosopher Plato. Around 360 BC, in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, Plato described a mighty island empire located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the region we know today as the Strait of Gibraltar. According to his account, Atlantis was larger than Libya and Asia combined, and it was the home of a wealthy and advanced civilization. Its capital city was a marvel, arranged in concentric circles of land and water, connected by bridges and canals. The people of Atlantis were powerful seafarers who commanded a navy of extraordinary size. Their temples and palaces were covered in precious metals, their society rich in resources, and their rulers descended, Plato said, from the god Poseidon himself. But Plato's story was not only one of wealth and glory. He also described how the Atlanteans, once noble, became greedy and corrupt. Their desire for conquest led them to wage war against much of the Mediterranean world. Only Athens resisted them successfully. And then, as if by divine punishment, Atlantis was destroyed. In a single day and night of misfortune, the island sank beneath the sea, swallowed by earthquakes and floods, never to be seen again. Plato's account was vivid, but it raised questions from the beginning. Was Atlantis a real place, remembered in fragments of older traditions? Or was it purely an allegory, a story invented to warn against the dangers of pride and corruption? Even in antiquity, opinions were divided. Some, like the philosopher Crantor, claimed to have seen references to Atlantis in Egyptian records. Others, including Aristotle, believed it was fiction, a story Plato had made up to serve his philosophical purpose. Yet the idea never went away. 4 centuries after Plato, the story of Atlantis lingered quietly. Medieval scholars sometimes repeated it. But it was during the Renaissance that interest in Atlantis returned in full force. The age of exploration gave the legend new life as Europeans discovered lands and peoples unknown to them. Could the Americas be Atlantis? Could the islands newly charted in the Atlantic be fragments of a lost world? The mystery began to grow, fueled by both scholarship and speculation. Over time, countless theories have emerged to explain the possible reality of Atlantis. Some researchers believe that Plato based his story on real events, though exaggerated. A popular theory connects Atlantis with the Minoan civilization on the island of Crete and nearby Thera, known today as Santorini. The Minoans were a wealthy and advanced seafaring society, with palaces, art, and trade routes across the Mediterranean. Around 1600 BCE, a catastrophic volcanic eruption destroyed much of Thera, creating tsunamis and devastation. This disaster may have inspired a tale of an island swallowed by the sea. The timeline does not match Plato's claim of 9,000 years earlier, but perhaps he drew on distorted memories of this real catastrophe. Other scholars take Plato more literally and point to the Atlantic Ocean itself. The Azores, a group of islands west of Portugal, have long been suggested as possible remnants of Atlantis. Rising sea levels at the end of the Ice Age might have submerged coastal settlements, leaving behind only hints beneath the wave. Explorers in the early modern period often marked Atlantis on their maps, imagining it somewhere between Europe and the New World. While no evidence has been found, the ocean remains vast and largely unexplored. More radical ideas link Atlantis to faraway places. Some have speculated that Atlantis was in the Caribbean, suggesting Cuba or the Bahamas as candidates. The so-called Bimini Road, a formation of underwater stones near the Bahamas, has been claimed by some to be part of ancient architecture. Scientists, however, generally regard it as a natural formation. Others have proposed locations as distant as South America, Antarctica, or even beneath the Sahara Desert, where circular geological structures resemble Plato's description of concentric rings. Despite the lack of proof, the fascination continues. The possibility that Atlantis might be real speaks to our deepest curiosity. Human history is full of lost cities rediscovered. Troy, once thought to be pure legend, was uncovered in the 19th century. Pompeii was buried for centuries before its ruins were revealed. Entire civilizations, such as the Maya, were once hidden beneath jungle and soil. If those places could be found, why not Atlantis? Theories about how Atlantis was destroyed are as varied as its supposed locations. Plato spoke of earthquakes and floods. But modern researchers suggest that natural disasters such as volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, or sudden shifts in the Earth's crust could have inspired the legend. Geological evidence shows that sea levels rose dramatically at the end of the last ice age, flooding vast areas of land. Entire coastal settlements could have been swallowed, giving rise to stories passed down through generations. Beyond the question of geography, Atlantis has become a mirror for human imagination. For some, it represents a lost utopia, a place of wisdom and advanced knowledge that humanity has forgotten. Writers in the Renaissance and Enlightenment often portrayed Atlantis as an ideal society, a model for how the world might be. For others, Atlantis is a cautionary tale about arrogance and excess, a reminder that even the greatest empires can fall overnight. In the modern era, Atlantis has become part of popular culture in ways Plato could never have imagined. Books, films, and television have reimagined it countless times, from romantic adventures to science fiction epics. Some fringe theories even claim that Atlanteans had advanced technology, crystals of immense power, or even contact with beings from beyond Earth. These ideas, while lacking evidence, continue to fire the imagination, showing how Atlantis has grown far beyond Plato's original tale. Scientists remain skeptical. Archaeologists argue that no physical evidence supports the existence of a civilization as advanced as Atlantis in the period Plato described. The tools, architecture, and artifacts of known societies from that time do not compare with the grandeur of his account. Most scholars believe Atlantis was never a real place, but a story crafted to illustrate moral and philosophical lessons. And yet, the allure of a lost city beneath the waves continues to inspire exploration. Part of what makes Atlantis so enduring is that it touches on universal human themes. We are fascinated by the ocean, which covers most of our planet and still holds countless secrets. We are drawn to mysteries of lost knowledge, imagining what might have been if certain histories had not been erased. And we are inspired by the idea that somewhere out there lies a forgotten key to our past. Atlantis combines all these elements into one unforgettable legend. The mystery of Atlantis also teaches us something about ourselves. Whether it existed or not, the story reflects our values, fears, and hopes. When we picture Atlantis as a utopia, we reveal our desire for a perfect society. When we imagine its destruction, we confront our fear of disaster and loss. When we dream of discovering its ruins, we express our yearning to connect with a past that feels both mythical and real. Even today, expeditions continue. From underwater archaeology to satellite mapping, scientists and explorers search the seas for traces of lost settlements. While no evidence of Atlantis has ever been confirmed, discoveries of other sunken cities remind us that the ocean still hides history. The ruins of Herakleion and Canopus, ancient Egyptian cities submerged for centuries, were rediscovered in the early 2000s. Such finds prove that great cities can indeed vanish beneath the sea, fueling hope that Atlantis might someday be more than legend. In the end, the truth about Atlantis may never be known. Perhaps it was purely a story, a philosophical myth created by Plato to teach lessons about pride, morality, and the fragility of civilizations. Or perhaps it was based on memories of real events, disasters that shook ancient peoples, and were passed down through generations until they reached Plato's ears. Either way, Atlantis remains one of the most powerful and enduring legends of human history. The story's survival over to millennia proves its power. Atlantis is more than a lost city. It is a symbol of the mysteries we long to solve, the histories we yearn to uncover. And the hope that somewhere beneath the waves, secrets of the past still wait for us. Whether fact or fiction, Atlantis continues to shine in our imagination. A reminder that the line between history and legend is often as fluid as the sea itself. Do you believe in Atlantis? Write it in the comments! Leave a like and subscribe! Thank you.